Welcome back, guys. So this is a voice overlay of basically what happened this morning in the morning session when I was trading the Nasdaq 100 futures contract. So we had entered in on a buy position here. We actually set an order limit, a limit order, and we got triggered in just around right here. So the reason why I'm kind of doing this voiceover was because the video is in like three times the speed, so literally you wouldn't have had heard anything that I said throughout the whole time I recorded this audio. So basically I'll just be kind of just doing like a little walkthrough of my trade thoughts and what was going through my head at the time when I was recording. So I wanted to see if price could get to them equal highs up there where my cursor is currently at right now. So I had these two charts up. I had the 1 minute chart on Nasdaq, and I also had the 15-minute chart set up. But on my other screen, I also had the 1 minute chart on the S&P, and I also had the 15-minute chart with the dollar index too. So basically, currently right here, right now, I was thinking to myself like, okay, so we just tapped inside of our fair value gap during our 10 o'clock silver bullet hour, and I wanted to see if we can get above that 15-minute fair value gap that we're currently at right now. If you look to the right side of the chart, so seeing that, I was like, okay, like let's see if we can get bullishness and energetic candles trading nothing but higher. And I was like, okay, like let's just see how it goes. So I kind of just at this part of the video, I kind of just went quiet and I just let the chart do all the talking. So I must pick up when there's something for me to share with y'all. So right around here, I was like, okay, if we stay above the 50% of this fair value gap that's shaded, then we should continue to keep pushing higher. I don't really want to see price trade real lower than the 50%. It can wick below it, but I don't want to see a body close below the 50% of that shaded fair value gap on the left side of the chart on the 1 minute chart. So as price was playing out and doing this thing, I'm just like, okay, I'm kind of in my bed right now, so I'm just still letting it do its own thing and not really caring too much about if it's going to stop me out or if it's going to go to profit, because I'm pretty confident that it was going to go towards my take profit that I wanted to see above those equal highs that's delineated right here where it says equal highs. So I was just trying to get through this part of the video where I guess all this back and forthness was happening. The current time of this, I think it says 10:14. So I was like, okay, maybe by 11 o'clock we should be at our target. So now at this point, I'm kind of getting a little not scared or frightened, but I'm like, okay, I can see that we're starting to trade below, the 50% now, and we haven't closed the body below it yet, but we are wicking it. It's our third time wicking the 50% of the fair value gap. So I'm still waiting, just still waiting, still waiting. And then literally I saw the most craziest thing happen, which you guys are about to see like in a few seconds right now. Price came literally like a few points from stopping me out, which I think is this move right here. Yep, it's this move right here. So I'm just looking, I'm like, whoa. Like, okay, so I see we also had a 5 minute fair value gap that I overlooked. But this is the point where I noticed I was like, dang, it probably might actually stop me out. My stop loss was right below the low of the candle that formed the fair value gap's low end. And I was basically showing that the dollar index is pushing lower, so I wanted to see indices push higher, and if it doesn't push higher, then something is really going on with the markets, because that's a little strange. And I also see that ES was pushing higher too towards its buy side as well too. So I'm wanting to see if we can get above this fair value gap here. If we could, then that'll be a good indication that we could continue to push higher, taking out those equal highs. I was okay as long as ES stay above its fair value gap that turned inversion once price traded above it and used it as a level of support to continue to push higher. Now, I was thinking maybe I should enter in on another buy here for ES as well, since I'm pretty confident ES is going to push higher. ES today remained the stronger one because it kind of moved faster than NQ would normally. And that's strange because NQ normally moves a lot faster than ES. But yeah, I was looking at those highs right there. And once I see that we created a wick on that 5-minute chart, I was okay. We shouldn't come back down below this inversion fair value gap right here. Once we trade above it, it'll become inversion. And I'm also looking and seeing like, okay, will ES take out its highs? If ES takes its highs out, then I should also see NQ take its highs out as well too. So now we're above that fair value gap, which becomes an inversion fair value gap. And people, once it closes, it also creates another fair value gap as well too. So we have a 5-minute inversion fair value gap with another fair value gap inside of that. So I switched back down to the 1-minute chart to see what was going on here. And I kind of had to adjust my charts because I had too many boxes of the same color. And it'll be kind of confusing for you guys. So I wanted to see if we could push above those highs that was starting to form as our roadblock right there, which we did manage to push above it once ES took out its equal highs. Yep. And then we tapped into that 5-minute fair value gap that's right there shaded in red. That became our next obstacle that we had to overcome. So at this point, I wanted to move my stop loss just a little bit below the low of the fair value gap that I entered in off of. And I moved my stop loss a little bit to also change the risk reward ratio for my trade. Now I want to see if ES could get to those highs and pass through its roadblock fair value gap as well too. Which that shaded fair value gap that we just shaded on ES, I want to see if that will remain as an unfilled fair value gap. So like a breakaway fair value gap. So once we tapped inside of this red shaded fair value gap on the left side of the chart, we kind of had a little bit of reaction that I didn't like. And looking at ES also was given that same reaction that I didn't want to see at this level. Okay, so I see that we just took out these equal highs on, ES. I'm like, okay, good. So if we can get a strong body close through that fair value gap on the right side of the chart, then chances are we could also use that as an inversion fair value gap. And I was currently showing you guys how much I'm up in profit right now. And notice that inside of that shaded 5-minute fair value gap on our chart on the left side of the chart, we have a tiny, not a tiny, but it's another fair value gap right there in the middle that price actually comes down to trade into. So that kind of could have offered you like another entry, and it would have been like a low risk entry, more or less of a risk than my initial entry because I was risking like 20 something points. This one would have been probably like maybe a good 15-point risk, a little bit less. So yeah, I was just looking. I was okay. I was like, ES is pushing higher. Meanwhile, NASDAQ is still kind of just being a little sickly and not wanting to continue with what its sister ES is doing. So I'm looking, I'm like, okay, we just tapped inside of that red shaded fair value gap, so it could kind of reverse on us here. But I was like, I'm pretty confident our draw is still higher. Bends that if you look on the right side of the chart and you look at that black candle that's currently moving right now. I just kept seeing that one push higher from the low of the day, which was in London, and it just kept pushing higher and higher. So I'm thinking like, okay, as long as the daily candle keeps pushing higher, then we should continue to see higher prices. Notice that on the left side of the chart, we had wick down into that fair value gap that's shaded in blue, but there's also one in between that as well too. And I just right now moved my take profit to those equal highs. In the video, I mentioned that I wasn't going to target the extra 10 points. So it was technically like 46 points that I made on this trade. And I was targeting 50, but I was like, I'm just close it out the equal highs, because chances are it could tap those equal highs and then just reverse straight on us. So I was like, to be sure and safe, I'm just going to take a full profit right there. So seeing this, and now I just updated that to become inversion. So now I'm still thinking like, okay, we just need to push above this high right here in order for us to continue to get towards that buy side liquidity that's resting above those equal highs. So I just, updated my chart right now, and I didn't move my stop loss no more from the rest of this time. So I also see that we formed equal highs here that we left in place, which also built more further of a conviction that we was going to continue to go higher as well. And I'm just right here just shading in, letting you guys know that we're about to come inside of the 1050 to 1110 macro. Is basically like, well, I can't even explain what a macro is to you guys, honestly, but I just know how it works. So basically, I was looking for speed during this macro, speed towards either sell side or buy side, and currently the trend was we was pushing higher. So I was looking for speed towards the buy side liquidity. Around this time, I kind of put the recording on pause. Well, not pause, but I turned my mic off and I kind of went to just go do something else to keep me away from the charts, so I wouldn't, end up doing something reckless and stupid like closing my trade out because I'm seeing that it's starting to go down. Trying to preserve capital. But yeah, I just kind of let the market do its thing, and I didn't really mind it too much here. So I'm still wanting to see it push higher. Means that ES on the right side of the screen is almost at its buy side target that I was looking at, and it's now above its 5 minute 5 minute fair value gap. So I'm still thinking to myself like, why is NQ trading around its 5 minute fair value gap, whereas ES is pushing higher, with speed, with energy. Meanwhile, NQ or NASDAQ is wanting to be like a little sick sister, not really want to follow what its big sister is currently doing right now. So I see that we tapped inside of that 5 minute order block right there, that black shaded candle inside of that fair value gap, not the one that's next to the candle that just printed, but the only black candle that actually has some volume in it in this whole entire up range. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm in the shower now, so I'm not really paying attention to what's going on, but I know that we're still inside the macro. So I still want to see speed and displacement towards that buy side equal highs up there where my take profit is. So I kind of set limits to let me know to keep up with like what was going on in the charts whilst I was away from it, but I kind of didn't get no updates. So I was just like kind of in the dark until I came out and came back to my computer. And then that's when we saw this move happen. Give it like maybe a few more seconds and you're going to see energy and speed and displacement. Like, where was this at when I needed it, when I was like in front of the charts? That's what I'm thinking. Like, where was all this energy at when I was sitting down here for this whole hour? Like, where was it? Because big sister big sister ES, it was providing the speed that I wanted to see in the energy. But NQ was just like, you gonna get it whenever I give it to you. And I'm not gonna lie, I took it. I took whatever it gave me, and I didn't complain at all neither. So yeah, I'm like, this is what I wanted to see. These the candles I wanted to see right here. I didn't want to see nothing less than this right here. You can see that. That's one 5-minute candle just ripping straight higher. And look at NQ on the other side of the chart. NQ, look at that. Just speed and displacement towards that high. Boom. You see how fast that's going? You see how fast that went? Where was that at before I left my charts? Look at that. Look at that. I'm talking about boom. Like that right there was what I wanted to see. And I didn't even get to see that happen. But if I did get to see that happen, I would have been like, yes, yes. But I'm saying it now, and I'm just still like amazed, because it's like it literally took for me to leave my charts for this to happen. And if you can see out of the whole, from those two red lines from 10 to 11 o'clock, you didn't see no candles that had that type of speed nor energy pushing higher towards them equal highs. Now, mind you, we are still inside of our macro, so the macro basically is just like I can't explain that to you guys, I'm sorry, but maybe in another video I'll be able to explain it to you, but right now I can't even explain it to you. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed my voiceover of today's video. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe, comment, and like, and share. Thank you.